Jennifer with today's Ask question. And since it is Valentine's Day, what better topic to talk about than let's talk about sex, right? This is it. It's Valentine's Day. So the big question is actually, if I'm acting as a gestational carrier, can I have it, right? Big important curiosity to be thinking about. Definitely the answer depends. So it really comes down to the instructions of a reproductive endocrinologist and what they feel is best for your situation when you're acting as a gestational carrier. It's very typical, very normal for them to restrict and say no sex. They actually usually call it pelvic rest. It's kind of code for that word. From usually start of medication all the way through at least confirmation of pregnancy, which would be put you somewhere around 6 weeks of restriction, often until confirmation of pregnancy via heartbeat, which adds an extra 2 weeks to that. And then I've also seen it happen quite frequently where they will restrict activity all the way through the till you've been weaned from medication and released to your OB, which is another 6-ish, 4 or 5, 6-ish weeks. So it can vary anywhere from 6 to 16 weeks worth of restrictions. Obviously, there are going to be outliers on all sides where there are places that want you to be restricted longer than that, and some that could be shorter than that. But it's really important to follow the instructions of your reproductive endocrinologist in that regard. Also, there are other situations throughout where you could be restricted as well in the pregnancy. So if you have something called an SCH, which is a subchorionic hematoma, oftentimes in that situation, they will also restrict sexual activity. And don't forget, they also, we got to talk about all the words and all the things that sometimes sexual activity is not just talking about intercourse. It can often mean talking about that there can be no orgasms either. So be very careful, be very explicit, have those conversations with your reproductive endocrinologist. Don't be embarrassed. This is what being a gestational carrier is about, carrying babies, right? This is, we got to have all these important conversations. So that's the answer. It's not a clean cut answer. Of course, the answer is, of course, talk to your reproductive endocrinologist, see what their restrictions are at your clinic, but likely there will be some level of restriction. It's just a matter of how much it is. So I hope that helps. Happy Valentine's Day.